For nearly 2,000 years, the Jewish people had no country of their own. They lived across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, often as outsiders. Many were welcomed, many were hated, many were expelled. Then in the 20th century, after one of the worst crimes in human history, the world watched a new state rise from pain, politics, war, and global pressure. That state was Israel. But why was Israel created? Who pushed for it? Why in Palestine? Why did America support it so quickly? And how did that decision reshape the Middle East forever? This is the full story. To understand Israel, we must go back thousands of years. The Jewish people trace their roots to the ancient kingdoms of Israel and Judah in the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Jerusalem was their spiritual center, but over centuries, empires conquered the region. The Assyrians, Babylonians, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Crusaders, Ottomans. In 70 AD, the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Many Jews were killed, enslaved, or scattered. This long scattering became known as the Jewish Diaspora. For centuries, Jewish communities lived in Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, and later America, but many faced discrimination. They were blamed during economic crises, forced into ghettos, expelled from countries, massacred in pogroms in Eastern Europe. Even where they lived peacefully, many remained vulnerable. So the question grew stronger. Could Jews ever be safe without a homeland of their own? That question would change history. In the late 1800s, one man gave this dream political direction. His name was Theodor Herzl. He was an Austro-Hungarian Jewish journalist. In 1894, Herzl covered the Dreyfus Affair in France, where a Jewish army officer, Alfred Dreyfus, was falsely accused of treason. Huge anti-Jewish crowds shouted hatred in the streets of Paris. Herzl was shocked. If even modern France could hate Jews so openly, where were Jews truly safe? In 1896, he wrote a book called Der Judenstaat, meaning the Jewish state. His message was bold. The Jewish people needed their own nation. In 1897, Herzl organized the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland. There, delegates launched the political movement known as Zionism. Its goal, to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Herzl became known as the father of modern political Zionism. Many places were discussed for a Jewish homeland. Argentina was mentioned. Uganda was even proposed by Britain in 1903. But many Zionists insisted on Palestine. Why? Because it was the historic homeland of ancient Israel. It contained Jerusalem, Hebron, Safed, and other sacred places deeply tied to Jewish history. At the time, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, ruled from Istanbul. Its population was mostly Arab Muslims and Christians, with smaller Jewish communities already living there. From the late 1800s onward, Jewish migrants began buying land and settling there. These waves of immigration were called Aliyah. New farms, villages, and towns were created. But tension also grew with local Arab communities. Two peoples now wanted the same land. In 1914, World War I began. The Ottoman Empire joined Germany and lost the war. Britain captured Palestine in 1917. That same year, something historic happened. British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour issued the Balfour Declaration. It said Britain supported the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. This was a major victory for Zionist leaders such as Chaim Weizmann, a chemist and diplomat who strongly lobbied Britain. But there was a problem. Britain had also made promises to Arab leaders who expected independence after helping fight the Ottomans. Britain had now promised both sides. That contradiction would explode for decades. After the war, the League of Nations gave Britain control of Palestine under the British Mandate in 1922. Britain now had to govern a land claimed by two national movements. Between the 1920s and 1930s, Jewish immigration increased. Many Jews fled persecution in Europe. Nazi power in Germany after 1933 made things worse. Thousands tried to reach Palestine. Arab Palestinians feared losing their land and becoming a minority. Riots broke out in Jerusalem in 1920. Violence erupted in Hebron in 1929. Then came the Arab Revolt from 1936 to 1939 against British rule and mass Jewish immigration. Britain struggled to control the conflict. It limited Jewish immigration in 1939. But this decision came just as Jews in Europe were facing catastrophe. Then came World War II. Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler murdered 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Entire communities vanished. Families were wiped out. Survivors were left homeless, traumatized, and unwanted in many countries. The world was horrified. Now the argument for a Jewish homeland became stronger than ever. Many asked, if Jews cannot be safe in Europe, where can they be safe? Thousands of survivors tried to reach Palestine, often illegally. Some were stopped by Britain. The famous ship Exodus 1947, carrying Holocaust survivors, was turned away. Global sympathy shifted sharply towards Zionist demands. Britain, exhausted and unable to solve the crisis, handed the problem to the United Nations. In 1947, the United Nations proposed partitioning Palestine into 2 states, one Jewish, one Arab. Jerusalem would be internationally controlled. This became UN Resolution 181, passed on November 29, 1947. Jewish leaders accepted the plan. Arab leaders rejected it, arguing it was unfair because Arabs were the majority population. Civil war broke out immediately between Jewish and Arab communities inside Palestine. Roads were attacked. Cities were divided. Violence spread rapidly. The British prepared to leave. War was coming. On May 14, 1948, in Tel Aviv, Jewish leader David Ben-Gurion declared the establishment of the State of Israel. Britain ended its mandate that same day. Within minutes, US President Harry Truman recognized Israel. The Soviet Union soon followed. America had become the first major country to officially recognize the new state. Why did Truman act so quickly? Several reasons. He sympathized with Holocaust survivors. He faced political pressure from supporters of Zionism in America. He believed the Jewish people deserved refuge, and he wanted US influence in a strategic region. Some of his own advisors opposed quick recognition, but Truman made the decision anyway. That moment created a historic alliance. The next day, armies from Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq entered the former British Mandate territory. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War had begun. Israel fought for survival. By 1949, Israel had won and expanded beyond the original UN partition borders. Jordan controlled the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Egypt controlled Gaza. If you're enjoying this story so far, take 1 second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep creating powerful history documentaries, just like this one. Now let's continue. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs fled or were expelled during the war. Palestinians call this the Nakba, meaning catastrophe. At the same time, many Jews in Arab countries later fled or were forced out and moved to Israel. The conflict had now become permanent. At first, the relationship was not as deep as today. In the 1950s, Britain and France were still influential in the region. During the 1956 Suez Crisis, Israel joined Britain and France in attacking Egypt after Gamal Abdel Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal. But President Eisenhower forced them to withdraw, so America was not yet fully aligned with Israel. That changed during the Cold War. The Soviet Union backed several Arab states, such as Egypt and Syria. Israel was democratic, militarily capable, and strongly anti-Soviet. Then came the Six-Day War in 1967. Israel defeated Egypt, Jordan, and Syria in 6 days. It captured Sinai, Gaza, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. America was stunned by Israel's military strength. After 1967, the alliance deepened fast. Military aid increased, weapons sales grew, intelligence sharing expanded, diplomatic protection strengthened. America now saw Israel as a strategic partner. In 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack. America airlifted weapons to Israel. This showed the world how serious the alliance had become. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter hosted Egypt's Anwar Sadat and Israel's Menachem Begin at Camp David. They signed the Camp David Accords. Egypt became the first Arab country to recognize Israel. Later came peace with Jordan in 1994. America played a major role each time. In the 1990s, the US also helped broker the Oslo Accords between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, led by Yasser Arafat. Though peace remained incomplete, Washington was central. There are several reasons. 1. Shared strategy. Israel gives America a strong ally in a volatile region. 2. Military and intelligence cooperation. Both countries share security technology and intelligence. 3. Domestic politics. Many American voters and political groups strongly support Israel. 4. Cultural ties. Many Americans view Israel as a fellow democracy. 5. Religion. Many Christian groups support Israel for biblical reasons. Critics say America's support has been too one-sided. Palestinians argue Washington cannot be neutral while backing Israel with money, weapons, and diplomatic cover. Wars in Gaza, settlement expansion, and disputes over Jerusalem have increased criticism. Supporters say Israel faces constant security threats and needs protection. This debate continues today. So how did America become Israel's godfather? It began with centuries of Jewish exile. It grew through persecution. It accelerated after the Holocaust. It was made real by leaders like Herzl, Weizmann, Ben-Gurion, Balfour, and Truman, and it became permanent through war, Cold War strategy, politics, and power. What started as recognition in 1948 became one of the strongest alliances in modern history. But the story is not over. Because every day, the future of Israel, Palestine, and America's role is still being written. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on this video. Let's talk about Israel and America relationship. More on the comment section.